black guys refer to women as females. What's up with that?
That's a good one. That's very good. There's no right way to answer this question. So I'm just going to be honest with you. That designated term, female, for me, there's no personal malice when I use it.
Sure.
I'm not using it to demoralize someone.
Yeah.
I would also, I guess, welcome the opportunity for, because I can't say females, women to call men male sometimes. But for me, it's just interchangeable with woman. Female is a woman. Woman is a female. I try not to use it, obviously, because I understand that socially it takes away from one's identity of being a human or person, because it's stripping them of their humanity. But when it's used, or when I have used it, it wasn't meant to do so.
Sure.
It's just a noun to me.
Yeah.
A scientific noun, but a noun nonetheless. But sometimes, like, I've heard older men use it. Like, man, you know, these females out here, man. Just like women, like, well, you know, these N-words out here be doing stuff like that.
Sure. You
know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, these females, man, they be crazy out here. You watch yourself, son. That's usually the context in which I hear it.
Okay.
You can say women, you know, these women out here, it's the same thing.
So,
right.
Sounds like for you, a pejorative term. I've never, so there's this woman at my job. I have many jobs, but one of the jobs that I work, there's a woman at my job, and she said, like, always says things, well, you know how females do this and females do that, and she's black, and every time I hear it, I'm always confused, because I'm like, part of me is like, do you hate yourself? So I have like developed I've never heard it in a positive connotation.
Yeah.
So when you say like, why does that happen? If I'm gonna be frank, that's my dad's name. But if I'm gonna be that guy,
yeah,
I never heard him say females. However, he never had the problem using the word bitch, and it almost became to a thing like sometimes like he would say it like so casually that like now it is a common part of my own vocabulary, but not to even just like address like in a pejorative sense. It was just like everything that he didn't like was like some bitch shit,
sure,
or that bitch shit. But then every time he would say it, then like I would notice that like it was always a masculinity stripping type of thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I guess I would say that it's a way, like, I mean, black men are still men. We live in America. We're not above misogyny.
Sure.
We are complicit in misogyny. We are activators of misogyny. Why? Because the aggregate society is misogynistic. So us being as part of the society are going to be complicit and complacent and facilitators of said misogyny. So for some people, they may not ever articulate it as pejorative. They may not think of it necessarily as pejorative. However, if you really wanted to comment on something that women do, you would just say woman. And it's not necessarily a colloquial thing. It's like, I mean, I can say like in the DC area, I do hear more people say females, like as a general for women. But also I don't hear the aggregate of those men speaking of women in general ever in a positive, unless it's something positive that specific woman does for them. And then when they refer to that specific woman, they refer to her by her name.
Right.
They use my mom, my sister.
Sure, right.
You know, my friend.
A descriptor.
But anything else, if it's a general, and then you also notice like, so, I mean, I could just say that, you know, I could say that black people harbor the same ill will. We're just for women, just as our society does. And realistically, black people may have just coined it differently, referred to it differently, but like I can't, like I have no idea like where that even remotely comes from, how it originates. I've also noticed that like teenagers, because I used to be a school teacher, like traditional teacher, I noticed that the children, when they wanted to get under someone's skin, right? Like when they wanted to refer into, like, again, pejoratively, like rather than getting in trouble for cussing, they'd be like, man, these females, or they'd be like, females do this, females do that. It's never like a, you know, so it's like, but you could tell like what they really meant was bitches.
So you can kind of get away with saying bitch.
See, here's the thing.
You can't get away with saying bitch.
You can.
I mean, it's a way to get away with saying bitch.
See, but, and I want to argue this, not necessarily argue, but just counter it by saying it's funny that you've introduced that perspective. I can see what you're saying. But on the flip side, as I said, I've never used it or had it, heard it used in my rearing days as a pejorative. It's a general term used, and I'm not trying to defend the word, I'm just saying, if we're talking about the etymology of the word, we're talking about the history and the usage of it, it's always been in a tone in which it's issuing some type of warning, beware. I know it's not exactly positive connotation, but it's like, hey man.
But if it's not positive, how is it not pejorative?
Well, if it's not positive nor is it negative, it's just a general, it's used in the terms that I'm describing it as. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying if we're talking about how you grew up with the word, and how you've heard it used in the circles in which you've heard it used. I'm talking about the contrasting difference in which I've heard it used either as a general term to describe, well, you know, hey, I heard about, yeah, you heard about it, yeah, man, it's this female in Kentland, she got her own thing. You know what I'm saying? I've heard that. We don't know her name, so she is a female. We just know that she's a woman. You can also say woman in place of female.
But then in DC, like, usually when, like, there's so many other words we haven't described, like, women, so it's like, when you're describing, like, I've heard, like, man, you know, this joint, I know
it's joint.
Overweight, like, I like that one.
Is joint just as offensive as female?
Nah, because joint has, like, because joint, to me, joint has a neutral content. Like, it had, like, if you say this joint, whatever follows up, then I already, like, the story could go, like, up or down.
See, joint to you is female to me. It's not a pejorative, it's just a general term to use. Say, all right, this joint over here, but how's that not a pejorative word? Because that's still stripping her of her humanity by calling her a joint. A noun, we know joint is literally a noun, person, place, or thing. Yeah, I mean, in Philly, I know they pronounce it differently.
Oh, these Jones.
Jones.
Well, that's a different context.
That's another
Philly,
thing now.
Yeah,
Philly is a whole different context.
Oh yeah, you gotta have a Sunni beard, number one.
Well,
Sunni beard?
Yeah, Sunni beard has to be.
But what I mean is like that's a whole different. He's just talking about like
look.
He's just saying a lot of people in Philly are practicing Muslims. Usually they learn Islam through jail, and then they got beards, and then they raise their children who haven't been to jail. But then something about genetics where now everyone can grow beards. It's funny because my mom is from Philly and I can't grow a beard, but she also got with a dude from Virginia who can't grow a beard. So here we are.
Okay.
It always comes back to beards with Marcus just so he can jab in. Every episode he gets his jabs in. Doesn't matter. All I'm saying is
I have a goatee, by the way.
Females. Again.
Jones.
Why? I honestly can't answer. So if you can answer in the fucking comments.
Please do. Because we, like I said, we started as it was no easy way.
But across Black America, especially on Twitter.
God damn it, Reed.
It's
what? I wanted to know.
It's a good question.
Gotta be honest. Across Black America, especially on Twitter, female is not positive.
It is not positive.
So it's basically, like you said, is to get away with calling somebody a bitch without saying bitch. But also, probably doesn't mean the same. Like, it's not like you feel the same level of contempt.
Sure.
So it's like it's a negative sentiment, but it's not the equal level of contempt. It's kind of like when a white woman calls another white woman a cunt.
Right.
Like, it's negative.
We're going to have to bleep that.
We do?
Yeah, we'll probably get YouTube. I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
So it's like that, though.
I didn't know cunt was I mean, I know it's a bad word. I don't.
No, dude, just tell them you're Australian.
Ooh.
That's
nice
a
one.
different thing over there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hear British people, too. Like, they call people cunts. And I'm always like, that's such a weird word to say. It sounds awful leaving my mouth, but not awful like I feel dirty. It's just like who said this?
Yeah.
But, I'm sorry, we can't answer your question.
Okay.
We can't answer the why.
Okay.
I don't think we can add up. This is the first.
I think we covered some ground, though.
Yeah. Now we got to cover our ass.